1,000 subs, baby. Let's go.
Attention, we're taking over. Bass is pumping. Bass is pumping. Attention, we're taking over. This is the real bass. Is taking over MTV. This is the real bass. Attention. This is the real bass.
Welcome everybody, I'm RJ of The Nerdy Brew, and here on this channel we talk TV, movies, and everything in between, all while drinking a cup of coffee. Now if you like one of those things or all of those things, what did you consider like, subscribing, and hit that notification bell, and becoming a fellow Brewster? So today, fellow Brewsters, we are reviewing Without Remorse, and the movie stars Michael B. Jordan, Jamie Bell, Jodie Turner-Smith, Lauren London, Guy Pearce, directed by Stefano Salimia, written by Tyler Sheridan, story by Tom Clancy. So the plot of the movie is Michael B. Jordan is this elite, higher up black ops operative, that's what ops is, operative of the US military. And the movie starts out with them doing a covert mission infiltrating this compound that is in the Middle East, I believe. And when they're there, it is an extraction mission of trying to retrieve a specific individual for the CIA. Come to find out, the CIA were holding secrets, as they do, about the basis or the truth of the mission, where the extraction was really from one group of people. Then the soldiers and Michael B. Jordan and his crew believed that it was another group, and come to find out it was the other group, and they were successful in that extraction mission, but there was action, there was gunfire, and the stakes were high, so they barely made it, but they ended up making it successfully. So that was at that point in time, and then 3 months later, the soldiers are home in their civilian lives, and Michael B. Jordan is married to Lauren London. That is a good look for him, and also I'll get more into that. And you see all the soldiers in their respective places, or the ones that they are highlighting, and they get killed indiscriminately at their residence, not knowing how it's gonna go down. And with that happening, Michael B. Jordan with Lauren London, and they're expecting a baby girl, and you could see that they love each other, and that they have a good sense of community with the ones around them. So that ends up showing and highlighted, and then a few minutes later, in the next couple scenes, you see the murdering of his crew, and then the assault in his house, which was in the trailers. He ends up finding, he does his own private investigation. He's asking his superior officer the information that she knows, and they try to brief her on things. So they bring all that information. So she slyly tells him, and after he, I got a frog in my throat. My name is Froggy from Little Rascals. Edits. He ends up finding out that information, and he goes off to find who's responsible. He goes through Russian diplomats. After finding out the Russian diplomats, he gets himself thrown in prison. We see that awesome action scene where he gets himself ready and he puts hands on multiple correctional officers. It was a great scene, right? He puts hands on them, and then he ends up getting released. He gets released by a phone call from a superior officer where he gets to do the mission of finding out the truth by himself, but it also has American interest. And Guy Pearce is the one who is a senator who sanctioned it, and the operation is being overran and supervised by Jamie Bell, who also was the supervisor CIA operative for the last extraction mission, the opening extraction mission. So boom, after that, they end up going to Russia, and they go through very slyly. There was a major, I don't want to spoil it, but there was a major action piece that really kind of distracted or set them back. But they ended up still recovering and finding out what that was. And while they keep going, they're ambushed by whoever was trying to make sure that they didn't make it out of Russia, to make it look like a political coup that there were US soldiers on Russian soil that killed people, right? That was the whole plan, and they were going to be the patsies for it. So after them going through this a large shootout, so that was between the second and third act of the movie. And really the third act was the resolution of finding out what these people were, but the last biggest action sequence was held in Russia, and it was very intense. Come to find out, he finds out who's done it, and the US had a hand in everything that transpired previously through the movie. And he finds out, and he finds a way to get the truth and to expose how the CIA was corrupt. So after that, he ends up getting his life name cleared of what the things that he did throughout the movie. He ends up getting a new alias, and he walks off the train, and there was a complete resolution, conclusion to the movie. And that's where we leave it off at. Another thing, I really felt like this movie was definitely very much an origin story for Killmonger. Just saying, for the example of him losing, and this is my headcanon, by the way. So I felt like if he was going to deal with the death of his father, and that happened, he went through his life, became part of the military, fell in love, and then that was taken from him. And then just the anguish and the pain and the other things that that this character of John Kelly went through, I can see that his new identity, because it was John Clark, but you don't ever know after the movie where he got turned in, that the name change of Eric, you know what I'm saying, was just a new alias. And we don't see the body count markings, but if he ended up doing private security after the events of this movie, then that would turn him into Eric Killmonger. And that was one of the things that I was really thinking, like, yo, this is definitely very much an origin story for him. I will say that the movie is very intense in particular action. And if I was to give that any of that away, if you haven't seen the movie, then that will really take away from your experience of those set pieces. But anywho, I'll say this with my thoughts of the movie, that the movie was definitely a political thriller in the realm of Tom Clancy movies, previous Tom Clancy movies, and also his other works, such as The Sum of All Fears, anything Jack Ryan, what was it, The Hunt for Red October, Patriot Games. The movie is definitely in that vein of finding out political things that are in the background, that is not in the forefront, and how this one individual who is our protagonist that we follow is trying to prevent anything catastrophic to the larger populace, and also political matters with diplomacy or tyranny that the movie was trying, that each of Tom Clancy's political thrillers try to convey. So I definitely appreciated that. That came from the movie. I feel like MBJ's physical work that he done, his physicality, he put work into definitely be one of the, like, very in his fitness, very healthy. His physique was, it was very much Rocky or Creed 2. He just made sure that he looked like he was an elite soldier who cared about his body. I'll tell you that. Also with that, his acting, there was not. He was very reserved individual of him playing John Kelly, but when it came to doing things of a mode of pain, he expressed that very well when he did those things, getting beat up, hit, blasted on, getting thrown across the room, crazy things like that. That's where he really excelled in this movie about that. And also just the stunt work, once again, I'm pretty sure that he didn't do all of his own stunts, but just the work that was put into it, of how he was moving, shuffling, he looked very practical, and how a U.S. military soldier would move. MBJ had good chemistry, and to me, he always has good chemistry with his leads, or his romantic interest, especially coming from Creed 2. And also Snow Allegra in the video Whoa, and he just I guess he oozes that with the women that he's with. They just end up, like, why not get close to this man? So that ended up being the thing. His chemistry with Lauren London was very apparent. It felt very natural. It didn't feel forced, and it didn't feel like, it wasn't awkward. So I definitely appreciated that from them. Also, he had good chemistry with his senior officer, played by Jodie Turner-Smith, where they had a camaraderie between each other. You could tell that they have history with one another. I feel like they're both two attractive people, so maybe in another life they probably did have attraction to him. So it seemed like it was hinted on how they looked at one another, but it seems like they kept it professional in their military backing, you know what I mean? So I just felt like they had a very good bond between one another that felt very authentic, because they definitely figuratively, literally, you know what I'm saying, because of the movie, they were in the trenches together, Also, Jamie Bell, Guy Pearce, I feel like, when you see these character actors show up in movies, Guy Pearce, Jamie Bell, Stanley Tucci, if you see those guys, they will always add a flavor and a kick to the movie. And Jamie Bell was definitely much a plot piece, but I felt like he did the best acting with what was given to him. And I'm always a fan of Jamie Bell, and the first time I saw him was in Jumper, and I follow his career, so I definitely much like Jamie Bell, and they always do well when they show up, especially with Guy Pearce. But if you saw Guy Pearce, then you might think, oh, he's gonna show up as the villain at some point. And after that point, there were 4 action sequences throughout the movie, and personally, I felt like the action sequences were very intense, very claustrophobic, very bombastic, and very edge of your seat, and they were nail biting. When they showed up, I know and I understand as a political thriller that there's also swelling of information that they're trying to get to before things pop, just like a balloon, you know what I mean? So it takes some time, and the movie was written by Tyler Sheridan, and Tyler Sheridan wrote a few of the movies that I enjoy. One of my favorite shows that is on the air right now is Yellowstone, and he's executive producer of that. And he's just a great writer, and I was just very glad to see his name in the end of the credits. With all of that being said, then I felt like the movie was missing something. Maybe a hint of personality. It didn't feel as charming as John Wick, but I felt like it was more natural into looking into a reality that was exaggerated for entertainment basis. Because Michael B. Jordan's character is not John Wick, but he is a very skilled individual. And I guess there was something lagging, maybe like the music didn't swell in the right places, or crescendo in the right places for us to hear and feel it. But there was music throughout the movie. I felt like the directing is very adequate. I don't feel like there was no shaky cam. Everything was seen, fluently. And the editing was done in the right way where I did not feel like I didn't know what was going on. The movie is a dark movie. It seems like most of the movie is done at night, but the lighting is very good. I have, a lot of admiration for this movie. I don't feel like it's bad. With that, I give it a Nerdy Brew grade of 7.3. Have you seen Without Remorse? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for being here. I'm very humbled that you come and become part of this little community in the small corner of YouTube, because you could definitely be watching something else, but you choose to come here. And this is just a safe place for us to talk about the things that we love, drink a cup of coffee, and just have a nice dialogue with one another. And that's definitely what this atmosphere, what I'm trying to bring. And I'm thankful that 1,000 of you really feel welcomed by that, and I'm happy that you guys are here too. So we're gonna do the giveaway, but with the giveaway, you must comment on the channel so you can let your voices be heard, so that we can know, so we can bless one of y'all for being here. But I will say this: if nobody does their part, there are runner-ups that will get theirs. So I'm just telling you this. We did it once with Optimus Norris when we were doing our 150 subs. We ended up going beyond what we could ever think of. So we're here at 1,000. We're doing a $50 one, but we're just trying to get back. And especially if we're able to get back, more and better giveaways are able to be presented. With that being said, I'm gonna bring this video to an end. And I want you to be you, do you, see the bigger picture. Have a fantastic day, because you deserve it. This is that channel. Peace.